It's time for Chill and Heal. From mental health and anxiety to nutrition and self-care, just chill and live a happy life. Chill and Heal with Chill Spa owner Chrissy Cantor on 99.9 and AM 1370 WFEA.
She's all about living a happy life because she is the CEO, the Chill Executive Officer. Ladies and gentlemen, Chrissy Cantor is in the house again. Hi.
Hi, good morning, Mike, and good morning, America. I'm your Chill and Heal host. I'm here to fuel your mind, body, and soul with goodness. We will connect, open up, share, be real, be raw, overcome, let go, learn, and grow together to simply live a happy life. And remember, sharing is caring, and we are not alone. And we are not alone, but we are still waiting for our special guest, Chill Girl Jaime.
Oh.
She is on her way in. Last week we had Justin Smith from Sparks Electrical Supplies and Services. And Jaime is a chill girl in New Hampshire. And so we are waiting for her. But what do you think of last week's show, Mike?
Well, it was enlightening to me because I have not been in the military. And to hear three military guys, including, of course, your fiance, Jay, who was kind of running some of that conversation, I felt like I was in the middle of some kind of a group meeting because these guys were really connected with each other based on their shared experiences and the empathy they had for all the different things, good and bad, that they all had during their careers in the military. Very interesting, very enlightening. I think everybody should have a chance to sit and listen to guys like that and women talk from time to time because it is eye-opening.
It is eye-opening, and I had no idea, like I had said before. I'm trying to think. I'm like, this is the first time I've been with someone that's been in the military. And I was just so enlightened by their brotherhood, sisterhood, and how they connect with even someone they haven't met before, being a veteran, and how they share. It's beautiful, and I'm so grateful. I'm a grateful American. Grateful they're fighting for freedom. And
they're putting everything on the line too.
Everything,
especially in active combat. You know, the wartime theater. It's like, man, I don't know if I'd have the guts to do that. Maybe not. Well, that ship has sailed for me. I'm too old. But I do appreciate and respect, and I'm so glad that Justin and Sebastian were in with Jay last week. It was really good conversation.
Thank you. I'm like, I thought it was too. And Sebastian being an alderman and how he serves in Manchester.
He's like 12 years old.
I swear he's not. He's just very young looking, right?
Yeah, and then he opens his mouth and he says he's very adult things.
Yes.
And, I don't actually live in Manchester, so I'm not too up on the alderman situation. But, just what I saw, I would definitely consider voting for him if I was living in his district, Ward 6, right?
Ward 6, yes.
Right.
We're up on the east side.
I liked him.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I do too. I'm so grateful. And welcome, Jaime. Chill Girl Jaime is here.
Good morning.
Well, let me give you a microphone there, lady. Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome.
Morning.
Hi.
Good to have you.
I know. It's always fun being here.
It is always so fun being here. And I figured today we would be talking about staying connected.
Yep.
And last week I heard from you and Caitlin and how moving the show was and listening to the guys and your husband, Justin.
Yeah.
And I wanted to, reconnect,
Yep.
which we reconnect every single week.
Yep.
But share, what is it like to be a spouse of a military, someone who's serving?
And so for me personally, it's interesting. I felt like sometimes when you have like outer body experiences and you feel like I'm living someone else's life. It was a very almost like movie-like situation. So when Justin enlisted, he enlisted shortly before we started dating.
And how old were you?
How old were we? We were 20, and I was living in an apartment with my sister at the time and when we started dating. So we were 20, and then he was like, when things got serious, he was like, man, I kind of don't know it was a little nerve-wracking. He's like, I don't know if I would have done that. At the end of the day, I told him, I'm glad you did it because you have no regrets. Like, you shouldn't not do something because of a situation. Like, you felt like this is what you wanted to do. So going into the relationship, I knew what I was getting into too.
So he already enlisted.
He had already just sworn in. And we started dating.
I remember
in
your
January.
your beautiful
And
love story.
Yeah, he said that he, what did he say? Was it Christmas Eve? He swore in, and then it was our chill Christmas party in January, and he was my date. So that was the same year we had that crazy ice storm.
Yes.
And I remember, so I was staying in a hotel, and we were on the phone like every day, and he was like, and everyone was like bringing dates to this like chill Christmas party. So I was like, well, if I don't end up with a date, you can be my date. And he was like, okay, sure, I guess. And then that's when we started dating. So it was right after. But yeah, it was, it was exciting and scary all at the same time. Yeah. So then I was living in my apartment, and then he swore in, and then he left for, like he mentioned last week, he did his training in Kentucky, which I'm glad he got that training because they don't have a lot of training facilities like that anymore. We had it old school, which was kind of romantic because we could only write letters to each other. Aww. Never got a phone call. We're like, so many years later when his brother joined, he got cell phone privileges after like 2 weeks. So I remember waiting for the mailman at my apartment, sitting there waiting. Oh my gosh. It was like, but it was exciting, but it was also like, then when you get the mail and there's no letter, you're like, oh.
He doesn't love me anymore.
Well, let me tell you though, if he wasn't an electrician, he's like the jack of all trades. There isn't much he can't do. Oh. He's an amazing writer. He always thought about maybe like being an English teacher, which isn't going to happen, but it was kind of always in the back burner. He can write. And I have all the letters saved. Oh. We have all of our letters. So we're like, one day we have to like put them in a book or do something with them. But yeah.
How long ago was this?
Oh my gosh. I'm 34 now, so...
I'm thinking the ice storm, if it's the one I'm thinking of, was maybe 10 years ago?
It was more than that.
Okay.
I want to say it was 12 years ago.
Okay, yes. 09.
Or 13, maybe. Because we've been married 12.
Okay, you've been married
and we
12.
dated a year-ish or more before we got married, so... Gosh.
Was that 2008?
13. He's good with dates. I am not. I should know this.
How crazy was it, though, when you talk about doing an old school, writing a letter?
A letter.
Oh,
like, people nowadays are like, what is that? I don't know.
I mean, texting and emailing and all that was happening in the whatever year that was.
Yeah.
And suddenly you have to adjust your expectations to not be immediate, but rather... every 24-hour cycle of the mail. You may or may not hear from him.
Exactly. And now I think back, and even that was a privilege. When you think back to like old war times, when women would just sit at home and maybe get a telegram to find out what was going on. Like, I couldn't even imagine. But that's where I kind of am glad we got that experience because it made our relationship grow on a different level and like where he's such a good writer and we miss seeing each other. It was his way of getting his thoughts out too about everything. So he was like almost like journaling, but sending it to me.
Are you a good writer in terms of...
No, I felt so bad. Like, he would send me novels, and I'd be like, so today I went to the store. I miss you so much. La, la, la. Like, so elementary school. Like, I am not good with... I'm good with words. It's just not...
But you're very articulate when you speak.
Thank you.
And
exactly. I mean, not everybody can put pen to paper.
Right. Mm-hmm. And that's just not me. It's just never been my thing. So, and I tried, and I'd sit there with like a dictionary and try to find like what's like, or like, synonyms or acronyms or what's another word instead of saying, I'm doing great. Like, what's another word besides great?
All right, let's get her a thesaurus for Christmas.
Yeah, that's what it is, a thesaurus. I would go to thesaurus.com and try to find like other words to use.
Nothing wrong with that. I'm a professional writer, and I occasionally use thesaurus.com as well.
Yeah, because I was just trying not to be, like, boring. But anyways, it was really cool. And then he came home, which was super exciting. And, we lived where we lived. We lived in North Reading. And there's a restaurant there, Tokyo. Shout out to Ben, who who's still Ben was there, and then Tommy. Tommy's who, Ben's not there anymore, but Ben and Tommy were like the two bartenders. Tommy is still there after all these years. He's amazing. Shout out to him. We want to go, we visit him once every few years. Let Justin have any drink he could possibly imagine. It was a crazy night. And then had the best time. I think Landon was conceived around that time.
And what year was that?
So 2009, because he came in 2010. So, yeah, I think around there. And then you got to do the math, 9 months, right?
Yes.
So then from there, he ended up going to Texas, and that's where he did his medic training. And that was cool. So we went to San Antonio, but we talk about going back again because it would be different now visiting him there and having fun and doing the river walk versus when we were there. It was very stressful because our time was limited together. Mm-hmm. So it's always this, instead of being in the moment, it's always the feeling of this isn't going to last. So it would be nice to go back and relive San Antonio in a different way.
And embrace every single moment.
And embrace everything. And then he signed up for school first on his contract, but, when it comes to the military, they're going to do what they need to do.
Yeah.
And even though he was in school, so he could deploy, they're going to make sure the best of the best are out there. So they ended up pulling him, and they're like, you're going. And he was okay with it, and he was like, you don't sign up to not get to experience this. And so off to Kuwait and Iraq he went.
And he was a gun truck driver?
Right. And so this is stuff that I found out after.
Oh, of course he's not going to tell you that.
No. Even now there's still stories and things that he'll bring up, and I'm like, oh, tell me more.
So you got to listen to the radio to find out what he did.
I'm telling you. And people are always like, oh, what brigade or unit or whatever. And I'm like, I don't know. Because that stuff didn't matter to me. You know what I mean? I was just just get him home.
Yeah,
so,
you want him safe and you want him home.
Yes, and everyone has different experiences depending on the branch they're in, whether they're full-time, National Guard, whatever. So in my situation, he's National Guard. So I didn't, live with him on a military base somewhere surrounded by other military wives. So I was kind of very lucky to be have a very close-knit family and be close to all of them. And I had some relatives that have, had family members in the military. So they, my Aunt Joni, my dad's sister, she's awesome. And she really tried to, help us out a lot. She was very heavily involved in the USO. So, just lots of support systems that I tried to get otherwise. But my hands were full because I had a newborn. Mm-hmm. And then he left. So... it was kind of our own romantic story. We knew he was deploying, and he's like, I would like to get married under different circumstances, but if anything was to happen, I want to make sure you guys are taken care of. So Massabesic with a JP, we got married. Really? Yep. And so then I had a 1-year-old. I had a baby, and then he saw Landon. So he left when Landon was a month and a half old, I think. And then, or 2 months old, and then he left, and then he saw Landon for 2 weeks. He came home for a 2-week leave, and at this point, Landon's now 7 months old, but that was a blur. He barely remembers it. I just remember we're at Still Hill Resort, and Landon was just in his little diaper, and we were just again, because that he has to leave again, so it's hard to be in the moment. And then he came back, and Landon was already walking. He'd gone total. He was gone 13 months. Yeah. And then Landon was walking. How crazy.
So crazy.
But the time went by slow and fast at the same time because I was really busy with a baby. And Landon, love him. He's turning 12
Oh my
tomorrow.
Gosh, he is amazing. Happy birthday, Landon.
And he was the worst sleeper in histories of babies. So I think I was running on 2 hours of sleep and 6 cups of coffee, and I would come into chill just buzzing off of no sleep, and we made it work. So between him and work, it just and everyone just with chill, and everyone was so supportive and just did the absolute best to just
And you know what? You leaned on people when you needed to, and it was great that you had, even though you weren't on a military base with other wives, you had the support and the experience of other spouses. So that is so important for people.
It really
to
is.
reach out
Yep.
to know that they are not alone.
That's it, 100%. And they did they call it Yellow Ribbon Week. You go, and back when we did it, because it was such a major deployment at that time, I mean, it was a week-long thing they did at Red Jacket Inn up north. And I remember being so pregnant, and there's a picture of me and Justin in the magazine. Like, they ended up doing like a National Guard magazine thing on it, and there's a picture of us in it, and I'm like so pregnant and just like
so beautiful.
I'm like, and do I really have to sit here and be here? Like, and I get it, they want to make sure you have all the support you need, and so the military did a good job in that sense for like the families and the spouses and all of that, like making sure like you connected with people. So, and Justin still has some lifelong friends from it.
Yeah, that he talks on a daily basis too,
Yep.
even if they're not around.
Right. Yep.
Which is just so unbelievable. And so when you hear that you didn't hear about everything that was
Yeah.
over there, I would guess that that's to protect you.
Right. And that's what and a lot of it wasn't even so, exactly. It wasn't so much like, oh, you can't know where I am, or, this wasn't like special forces or anything. Like, everyone knew that's where they were, and they were helping them pull out. But he was a medic. So like, oh, he was in the background just like helping, saving guys. And that was not the case, as I found out later. And so there was a couple times he was able to call me through like, their special radio phones and have like, timed phone calls. And there was a few times where he was like, if you see anything on the news, don't worry about it. It's totally cool. Like, don't like pay attention to everything you hear on the news. But it was because like their base, there was like, things happening near there, whatever the situation. But yeah, at the end of the day, he's just like, I didn't want to worry you. You were already worried enough. So like, wasn't going to change anything.
But that time as you were apart, just newly married with a child, doing your own things, I would guess it was good for character building. It maybe didn't feel like it at the time, but as you look back now, think of how much differently you look at things.
Oh my
because
gosh.
of what you had to do by yourself.
I am
Exactly.
a different. I 100. I mean, I wouldn't change it for the world because it 100% changed me. I mean, I had my son at 21. In today's standards, that is extremely young. Like, you would have thought I was 16 and pregnant. Like, at 21 years old. I was pregnant at 21. I had him at 22. So 22, like, that's not that young. But again, today's standards, it kind of is. And I remember being at the doctor's office, and a nurse was like, "Oh my gosh, you're a baby having a baby." And I was like,
what?
You know what? You know what?
That's not appropriate.
Yeah.
Get out of here. Like, and people make comments like that. And and this is in the hype of like social media becoming a newer thing, and Facebook and all these things. And all my friends are living their best lives. And I'm home with my spouse gone, with a newborn baby, with spit up on me, staying up till 2 a.m. And I'm just like, what is this? Who am I? So there were times where I had very much like FOMO about like, I should be out with my friends having a good time right now, and I'm home with a baby. No one, like, it was definitely had tough, not only missing Justin, but then also being like, look what all my friends are doing. And social media has only gotten worse with that. You see what other people are doing, and they oftentimes aren't even having the best time, but they project it. And that's where people have to learn, like, social media is not all what it seems to be. But still, it was really tough at that age. So I had to mature. I
have a feeling that people meant that having a baby is a compliment that you, because you do look young for your age
not
now.
this nurse.
Oh, really?
Not this nurse.
Well,
After she was telling me that she was like breastfeeding her child till he was like 5. And I was like, I don't think you should be judging me.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God. People need to stop judging.
Just like, let me just like, it's cool. Like, I don't know. The way her tone towards it was definitely not nice. And as women, women. You know what I mean? And I'm just like,
I do.
You know what? No. But I was just like, oh, well, I'm very happy and I'm very responsible or something. I had like a comeback where I'm just like, oh, well, I'm happy. So.
Wow, that's just so weird.
Yeah. People just say the funniest things.
And we just need to let it go.
Yeah, exactly.
But learn from it. And
100%. Yeah.
Something you would never say to somebody now, right?
Oh, No, nor would I ever ask if someone's pregnant or anything. Like, you just don't know.
Exactly.
That's mistake number one, that you do not ask.
Right. You just...
Because if you're wrong, you just put your foot in your mouth.
Yeah.
So we always have... just be careful.
The whole body shaming thing. It's like, we always talk about fat shaming or body... so I'm a very thin person, and people will, depending on what clothes I'm wearing, they'll say, "You okay? Have you lost weight?"
Oh.
Yeah, I know. And don't feel sorry for me, because I'm happy and I'm healthy and everything, but it just surprises me, the double standard in the body. I don't want to say shaming,
or it's like,
but
are you okay?
Are you
It's
okay?
like,
Yeah.
It's like, actually, I'm better than ever. Thanks.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I have a 58 resting heart rate. Okay, what else you got for me?
And usually if I'm and some people, I think it's awkwardness, like they don't know how to say things or approach things. So like for me, when I've noticed, like we have a client, he just lost a ton of weight, and I was like, "You look great.
There you go.
Have you lost weight?" And then he's like, I have, and whatever. And we start talking about it, and I'm like, what did you do? Lifestyle change or anything? You just don't know. And then that's where it's up to the person to be like, I'm going through a lot of stress. And that's where you can be like, oh my goodness, well, I'm glad, and at Chill, so I'm like, glad you're here. Let's de-stress, or, oh my gosh, I'm the happiest I've ever been, and I changed. Oh, great. So there's ways to approach things. And then wait for like feedback.
I know, because it's hard. Because you want to, because someone might be going through something that is affecting them in a negative way, and they've lost weight.
Or
but it is about
health,
being healthy. And I know people that have been body shamed because too skinny.
Yeah.
Or what in someone's mind is too skinny.
Or generally, the overweight is the more obvious one, but that always just kind of made me laugh when people say, "You okay?" Yeah. I was born this way. I have thin parents. It's just the way it is. Let's move on.
And everyone just has different genetics. Like,
Yes.
I am built so differently than my sisters. Like, I just am. And I probably like food more than they do, which is fine. But it's at the end of the day, it's like,
You
I
are
can't,
all gorgeous.
Yeah, you can't compare, because people also hold weight in different areas. People hold stress differently, whether it's gaining weight or losing weight or whatever. Like, I've had clients straight up look at me and be like, "Are you okay? You look like really tired today." And I'm like, oh my gosh,
hate when people do that.
I got like 12 hours of sleep last night, and I woke up feeling fabulous, but not anymore.
Yeah.
Sorry, my under eye concealer wasn't working well today.
You're killing me. You're killing me.
But you learn those skills working the chairs, right? And working at Chill. I mean, you just learn how to read people, and you learn what you shouldn't say and what's
That's
okay.
exactly it.
Edit yourself, and you hate to, but I mean, they're your customers, and you're there to make them feel good.
Absolutely, 100%. But yeah, so circling back, I mean, it was definitely interesting, and it was a journey for sure. I remember when he came back. Do you remember that when we set off the alarm at Chill?
Yes, I totally remember that.
Oh my gosh, he's going to kill me for saying this, but I'm an oversharer anyways. So
I love it.
You figure he's been gone for a very long time. And we have, I'm living now with my parents, because when I had my son, I had my apartment, and I could have stayed there with my sister, but my mom's like, "Move in, I'm going to help you, like with the baby." Like, she did some late nights with me, which was great. So, he's going to be coming home to a house full of people. Everyone's excited to see him, and his parents and everything. So he's like still in his uniform, and he doesn't like traveling in it. He doesn't like wearing it. He's just like,
Really?
he doesn't want the attention at all, which I get.
He's so humble.
Yeah, he just not his thing. I remember like if he was in it coming from like a drill weekend, he would make sure he had to change the clothes to change before we went anywhere. It makes him uncomfortable. And so we were like, he's like, "I really need a shower, and I just want some like time with you." So I was like, we'll go to chill. They're not open.
We have chairs there.
Yeah, but I totally set off the alarm because I locked it once we were in it. And now he's like straight out of like deployment and the alarm's going off. He jumps out of the shower with his towel on and he's like, spy guy going down the stairs and he's all like hyped up. And I'm like, it's okay. It's the motion sensor. So I had to call Chrissy and I'm like, it's me. It's not a burglar. Sorry. Justin's here.
The cops didn't come or anything? Or?
No, luckily you have to have like a word or a code, and I texted Chrissy, and I'm like, I'm at chill, it's me.
It's me.
Yeah.
Well, we have locker rooms.
Yep.
Well, we don't have a locker room anymore, but we have
CBS
an area.
News special report.
And we have, oh my gosh, and we have an amazing shower. So it was like the perfect place to chill, feel good. And
yeah, and obviously we need some alone time.
What does that mean? This is a good time to take a break. It's getting pretty steamy in here.
Oh my God, it's already 9:30.
It's 9:30, so we'll be back shortly. It's the Chill and Heal Show on 99.9 and AM 1370 WFEA.
Come chill. Manchester's a war-winning day spot. Just chill. Come spend a day at chill. Escape the stress of your everyday life. It's good for the mind, body and soul. A boutique spa with all the luxury of a resort. Look chill, feel chill, be chill. Let our talented staff make it fabulous. From couples massage to facials, spray tanning and hair design. We got so much more. Come chill. Manchester's award-winning day spot. Just chill. Come spend a day at chill.
Online at chillspa.com. More than ever before, it's important to take care of your well-being and fuel your mind, body, and soul with goodness. Tune in Wednesdays at 9 a.m. for Chill and Heal with Chill Spa owner Chrissy Cantor, the Chill Girls, and special guests sharing experiences and expert advice on how to keep it simple. Just chill and live a happy life. They'll dive into a variety of topics, from mental health and anxiety to nutrition, self-care, and tips on how to look and feel good every day. Chill and Heal, Wednesdays at 9 a.m. on 99.9 and AM 1370 WFEA. We get busy with our day-to-day lives. Chill Spa wants to remind you to take time for you. Making clients look and feel their best is their mission. Chill Spa is here to treat your body, calm your mind, and soothe your soul. Chill specializes in luxurious facials, face and body skin tightening, and cellulite solutions, skin and body contouring, makeup, hair, and nail care, spray tanning, and more. Book your chill time today. 1224 Hanover Street in Manchester. Online at chillspa.com. Chillspa.com.
Now, back to Chill and Heal on 99.9 and AM 1370 WFEA.
All right, we're back with Chill Girl Jaime.
Hey.
About staying connected, the importance of quality time and chill time.
Yep.
And supporting our loved ones.
That's right.
Yeah.
I was so lucky to work at a place where like I could zone and be chill and zen, and like I couldn't imagine being in like a high stress environment, being in that situation. So, and I know a lot of other clients now that have, like, I have a client, her now husband, they just got married, just deployed. So, chill's her place and we connect on that. I mean, she's been a client for years, but now this is a whole new connection where I'm just like, reach out if you need anything. Because it's tough when you get in a routine and then you're out of that routine and you develop a new routine and then they integrate back home. And I know that's a big thing that they go over with military families is how to integrate back. Because not only is it changing their lives and they have a hard time with integration, but it also affects you because, like, I had a routine with Landon and just, like, my daily life and now integrating him back into the equation but making sure he's comfortable. And it's just, like, it's a lot to navigate.
It is a lot to navigate, and especially not knowing what they've gone through.
Right.
And the same as him not knowing what you've gone through.
Right.
With all that, trying to find that balance, and a newborn.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Even though you have an amazing family and supportive work and friends, it's hard to manage all of that. So connecting that, and you've done an amazing job, Jaime.
Thanks,
Oh my God, a beautiful family, Hunter and Landon.
You're so sweet. We definitely we talk about we should write a book sometimes about our lives.
You've grown up together.
We have. You either grow together or you grow apart. I mean, no way has our marriage been perfect, but through everything, we come out stronger and we grow together. And I think that's important. You know what I mean? Like, and the biggest thing for like a happy marriage is communication. That, we communicate very well, but that hasn't always been that way. That's been taught. And
how did you learn that?
Through lots of conversations. I've always been a chatter and someone who needs to resolve an issue right then, because I will have anxiety. I can't sleep. I'm thinking about it. I'm like creating scenarios in my mind, and I'm not like living in the now. And it just like is so distressful for me. So and he was like the opposite. He would be like, we're just going to drop it. We're not going to talk about it right now. So then we got to a point where we finally started learning, like, we would cool off. And then I would approach it later and be like, I don't want to get upset now because now I'm cooled off. But like, I need
to address these.
I need to address it. I want it to be resolved. And I was pretty good at vocalizing how I felt. And
you are amazing with words, Jaime.
Thank you.
In your tone and the way you share. So
Thanks.
Really, when you say you're not a good writer, it's I don't know exactly, but
I know what you're saying.
Do you know what I'm saying?
So many times I'll say something and you're like, "Ooh, what was that you said?" And I'm like, "I don't know."
Yes, exactly. I'm like, we got to write everything down.
I just need like a voice recorder at all times.
See, that's why it works for you and your husband, because you're both good communicators, but maybe in different ways.
Yeah.
But you've got the skill set, and you find a way to make it work. Because
That's right.
You want it to work.
Well, that's the whole thing.
Yes.
Absolutely. So like and that was tough with him, like coming back from the military, was trying to understand, make sure he was okay. Which, he says he is, but he doesn't realize he's not okay. And it took years for him to develop that and discover that over time. And it took him to reach deep within himself. So he is in recovery, which I'm sure that's something he'll love to share sometime on this station, because that's a whole other road. But I was just telling Chrissy, everyone should have to go through AA.
I agree.
Or NA, because it makes you have to dig so deep within yourself and learn about yourself.
Well, there's variations of that depending on what your addiction is.
100%.
Be it food or nicotine or alcohol.
Any addiction.
Or shopping. I mean, so it's like recognizing that you have a flaw, but you can fix it.
And everyone has a flaw somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? No humans on earth are perfect. That's just no such thing.
Imperfect. Perfectly imperfect,
That's
I say.
right. And that's okay. But it's being able to, it's just, you have to, I don't even know how to describe it, but it definitely also helps like humble yourself. You know what I mean? And learn things that trigger you, or resentments or things like that. It's just like, but anyone could benefit from it. Because so many times, like, me and him will come across people and we're like, man, that person is so arrogant. And he's like, you know what they need? They need to go through the program.
They need the steps.
That's it. You know what I mean?
I totally agree, because I went to a couple meetings. I have someone in my family that has gone through recovery, and I was like blown away by the steps, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it just makes you really acknowledge, become aware, and help you live your best life.
A whole new awareness. That's such a perfect word of saying it. You're more aware of everything and anything, and about yourself and other people, and now you view other people differently. So something someone might say to upset you, you really don't anymore. You're like, well, they could be going through this or that, or it just helps you. It helps you work on yourself, right? And if someone says something mean to you and it triggers something, that's a you problem.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So this is all about working on yourself, humbling yourself, and having like this whole new like awakening and awareness, which is so great. So anyways, I don't even remember what I was originally talking about, but it's awesome. So that's all those different things, which when we look back at our lives, the stuff we went through, and so you figure we've been married 12 years now, we've been through more in our marriage than people will ever experience in a lifetime between deployment, cancer, sobriety, you name it, but a lot of beautiful things have happened too. And our
So many
children
blessings.
and, buying our first and then second home, and then him starting his business. And there's been ebbs and flows of that. And it's just like so much stuff has happened in our lives that would normally tear a lot of people apart. But we were able to, every single time look at it for what it was. How can we work through this? So yeah, and every time. But I'm also lucky. It's a two-way road, because there are just some relationships that in some certain situations aren't salvageable, and I'm very thankful I was with a man that knew he had a problem and wanted to fix it for his family. But not everyone's in that place to do that either. So yeah, every time something happens and we get through it, we're just like, it's a blessing,
Yeah.
And now we can learn from it, and we can only get better from here. It can't get worse, so we think.
But you're stronger as a result, as a couple, right?
Right, 100%.
Yeah.
So that's where, when I talk to a lot of clients or people, and they're like, yeah, I don't know, you just seem to know a lot or have a good sense of things, but it's because I had to go through it.
Yeah, you've been through it.
Yeah. And I don't wish bad things to happen to people, but I feel like people should experience sometimes some tough hardships, in any aspect. It can be anything, whether it's family or work or this or that, because if they can navigate through it and come out on the other side, you grow and you learn, you know.
And you appreciate, and there's more gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
So with everything that you've gone through, and you've beat cancer, and that was, how old was Hunter?
One.
She was 1 year,
Yeah.
and you had ovarian cancer.
Yep. My type of cancer was called germ cell cancer. So I was lucky where like my prognosis was really good. So it was in my ovary. So it was a type of ovarian cancer, but very treatable, which was really good. But yeah, very young. And I was probably like 25 when I got diagnosed. So I was actually on, I want to say, the like older spectrum of people who get it, because typically it's like, I want to say like early teens to early 20s is like the spectrum of when people can get this type of cancer. So in women, it can happen in your ovary, and I believe you can also develop it in your chest. And then for men, it's often common in their testicles. So it's the same exact cancer.
Yep. That's what I was thinking, like an undescended testicle or something.
So Lance Armstrong
yes.
had germ cell cancer in his testicles. So yes, it was a form of testicular cancer, but it was the germ cell. So I actually, my doctor used a lot of like his studies for my treatment. And that's why he was stage 4 and lived, because what they use for treatment, they know works. So regardless of your staging, if you are anywhere on the cusp of stage, so I was stage 1C out of, stages 1 through 4.
Because you caught it early?
So yeah, I did. And I did, because I was getting cramping and like almost like where my ovary is, it felt like a pulled muscle, and I couldn't describe it. And come to find out, it was because the ovary on the other side got so big, it was squishing everything on that side. So that's why the pain was actually in like not the area with the cancer. But my doctor was incredible. Not only was she my oncologist, but she was also my surgeon. She was fantastic.
What's her name?
She retired. Oh my gosh, I should know this. I feel like I blacked out from the whole situation.
Well, something you don't think about every day, I'm sure.
I'll look it up, but I remember. Oh gosh, what was her name?
But she retired.
She did retire. Yeah, she was incredible, and it was up in Lebanon.
Okay.
Dartmouth in Lebanon. Yeah, that she treated me, and I'll think of it. It'll come to me.
Yeah.
But,
Just blurt it out when you hear it.
Yeah.
And because you see so many doctors, like I have my doctor who's my oncologist now that I see for like just I get checked every 6 months just because and the
Really?
whole thing. Yep. So even it was really like you had, I think it was like a 15% chance it could come back in 2 years, and I'm at like 7 now. But like, if I can get checked, why not? You know what I'm saying?
What
my
kind of
insurance-
check? Is it a blood test or
I was lucky,
an
yes.
internal or?
I was lucky where not all cancers are this way. Everyone's different, but I could do what was called like a tumor marker. So in your blood work, say like your numbers should be like between 200 and 300. Mine were like 9,000 or something, which is why they knew then, okay, something's wrong. We don't know what, so let's take it from here. So now I just get my blood work done every 6 months, and as long as it's the tumor marker is in normal range, and they don't do an internal, but she'll like feel around and check all lymph nodes, and as long as I'm feeling fine, everything looks fine, and blood work looks fine, they don't have any reason to investigate further. So
Wow.
Crazy.
Another box checked of growing up and getting an education. Just add that to the other stresses in life.
100%. So I did have to
Wow.
go through chemo. So that was.
Oh, you did or did
yeah,
not?
I did.
You did,
So
okay.
yeah, it was, and they treat it the same no matter what. So that was interesting. But
So
it was
surgery and chemo, was that it?
Yes.
Okay.
So going into it was interesting because I am a very like when there's an emergency or something's happening, ask my family, they'll tell you this. I just go into this like weird mode where I'm just like I like hyper hone in and just get the job done. What do we need to do? And then I deal with the emotions later. So like during the whole process, I was actually fine. I know Justin had it would be interesting to hear his perspective as a spouse on something like that because he had a hard time with that. Like seeing your spouse go through something like that and there's nothing you can do to help them. That was brutal because not only did I go through chemo and that made me extremely sick, but it triggered and affected my hormones, which sent me on a spiral with my migraines. Like I was in such a depressed state at one point because every single day I literally wanted to just die from how bad the migraines were. It was so bad. So anyways, luckily I was able to like overcome it all. And it all worked out in the end. But yeah, it was something else. And that was tough because the kids were really young. So like 3 and 1, you know what I mean? And you're so sick, just like laying on the couch, like so nauseous, so sick, not feeling good at all. So luckily my mom and mother-in-law were over, like taking turns every single day.
Again, the support group.
Which
is the theme, connecting with people.
Yeah,
That's what
it's
it is.
connecting with
Yep.
people.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And what else helped you through everything?
Oh my gosh.
I mean, you've been through so much, and she's a ray of light.
Absolutely.
And she helps everyone feel so good at Chill
Oh,
and
thanks,
everywhere. No, but that's something like your mom. When your mom was working at Chill back in the day, she would answer the phone. It's a great day at Chill, but the way she shared it,
She has a great voice.
unbelievable.
Great voice.
You can't help but feel good when you hear Brenda say, "It's a great day, hello." And really, she gives you goosebumps. And that is, and she has 4 daughters, and Jaime, and who's been through so much.
Yep.
And look,
Crazy.
and you're living your best life.
Living my best life. Yeah. But I will say, so after, I think what helped is, after I got sick, I had undiagnosed anxiety. So basically PTSD, which anxiety I thought was the butterflies and this. I never experienced it. And I know of people who had anxiety, and you don't understand it unless you have it. You just don't. You can kind of think you can relate to people who have actual diagnosed anxiety. Until you have it, you're like, I am so sorry, I never really understood before, So I was having outer body experiences, tunnel vision, lightheadedness, really bad mental thoughts. It was really bizarre. And I remember it was Hunter's, I think it was her first birthday, and or second birthday, one of them, and I was in the Party City, and I was just everything was just closing in on me. And I looked at Justin and I was like, something's wrong. We need to go to the emergency room. So of course they see my history. So they're like, oh man, maybe your cancer spread. So they ran every panel, and they came back and they're like, there is nothing wrong. And like, you are totally fine.
So it's a relief, but it's not a relief.
Right. They're like good news and bad news.
Yeah.
And she was like, have you been prescribed anything for anxiety? I'm like, well, yeah. Like when they was going through chemo, they gave me, I don't know if it was like Ativan or something. And they're like, go home and take it because it's there for a reason and go call your PCP. And then come to find out it was like severe anxiety, but mine comes out through ailments. So I don't get so mine's like a physical anxiety, but like my body starts like malfunctioning versus like,
It's legit physical.
Yeah, versus like, butterflies in the stomach or I feel sick or it's just. It came
lower
out.
GI issues or things like that.
Yeah, anything. So mine came out in like weird ways. But I had to do a lot of searching in that time to get through it and like meditations and self-help. And I know like at the time, even chill, we were really going into, we were doing yoga and like up in our chill zone. And I basically would come into chill and get facials and massages regularly because they're awesome and will do that for me. And just anything I could to just like find peace, bring myself in the moment. And I knew eventually I would come through it, which I did. But like anything, it takes time and patience and a lot of like soul searching and what makes you happy. And, it's different for everybody. But I knew with like anxiety and depression, the worst thing you can do is like if you start finding yourself withdrawing, you know what I mean? Like
isolation.
Staying in, more isolating. So
That's
knowing
the worst
that,
thing.
I always made sure I was around people and with people because they're an easy they just lighten your mood or help, bring you to a different place. People who are just going to treat me normally and not feel sorry for me, So all those things totally help.
So if it were to, for some reason, rear its ugly head again, would you be able to cut it off at the pass because you recognize what's going on?
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So one of my sisters recently, she actually had some postpartum depression, which has never happened in our family. And she's never really had anxiety either. So she didn't, my mom was starting to pick up on a few things. And then we had the discussion and she right away was like, I am not myself and something is wrong and I don't know what's wrong with me. So talked to her doctor. They didn't hesitate. When they hear that there could be even like a tinge of postpartum, they get you in right away. And then she, got the care she needed and navigated through it and now, living her best life. But it's the biggest thing is recognizing when something is different or something is off or behaviors start changing. Because sometimes you don't even realize your behavior's changing, but others around you might. So it's just, see something, say something. Check on your friends. Make sure they're okay. It's easy to be like, yeah, I'm good. But
Are you really good?
are you really?
Are you really?
Yeah, let's talk
Do you need
about
to talk?
this.
Yeah.
I'm here. I may not have advice for you, and that's okay. But I'm here just to be in your presence. And if you want to talk or cry or laugh or whatever, like I'm here for you. So yeah, that's it's a lot. It's a lot.
Seems like the work environment that Chrissy sort of engenders is helpful for what you went through.
Yep.
Because of the support. If you were just like working at Amazon or some other random
100%.
place, you wouldn't necessarily feel that kind of sisterhood or whatever that
Nope.
maybe you feel now that is so important in kind of getting centered again.
Yep. And none of them necessarily have ever gone through the things I was going through, and vice versa with some of my coworkers. Some of them go through things that I've never had to go through, but it's a sisterhood. Yeah. And it's really cool to work in a place where, because we need to, if we're all about making our clients feel good and transforming their lives, we have to do that for each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't look at chill as like every Thursday. Thursdays are our late night. And we're all like, man, I want to book it out on Thursday because sometimes by the time we close and we're there, it's like 9 o'clock. And then 9 o'clock rolls around and we're shooting the shit, ordering crumble and spray tanning each other or just talking or whatever it may be. Excuse me. And we're there till like 11 o'clock,
Connecting, laughing, sharing. And it's so, so important.
Yeah, we really, and we're each other's friends and we hang out outside of work and it's just awesome. It's just awesome. Everyone's just, and we all know we may not have the best advice, but I'm here. Talk to me.
Yeah, we might not have the answers.
No.
But we're here to listen.
But you share enough ideas
That's it.
One of them is going to be a helpful one, I would think.
Right, absolutely.
That's exactly it.
No judgment zone.
So what's the average, well, I guess not so much a number, but it seems like the tenure of your employees is pretty long. You must have a lot of long-term women who've worked with and for you, partly because of the environment and the support you offer.
That's right.
Yeah.
More so than maybe the average salon or spa. I don't know. I'm just kind of throwing that
there
out
is
there.
not a big turnaround rate at Chill.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's like the core members that have been there a long time.
And the beauty is Jamie's sister now works with us,
Yeah.
Jess, and she gave me my haircut yesterday.
Yes,
Thank
yes.
you, Jess.
And it honestly, majority of the people who have left, it's because like we lost 2 massage therapists during the pandemic, and one of them decided she just wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. You know what I mean? Things like that.
Can't do a virtual massage, can you?
No,
That's
and
right.
Chrissy's always been awesome with like wanting people to like spread their wings, fly, and like do what's going to be good for them. So, you know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, some of them have left and started their own little small businesses or whatever, but
And the flexibility. And I started my business, well, I started Chill around my children's school and everything. And family is so important to me. And that's where family, friends,
yeah, and we're all at the stage.
Connecting.
Chrissy's so great about that. I mean,
finding
we're
that
all at the
balance.
stage where all of us have young kids school age that aren't like quite old enough to be like home alone or things like that. So a lot of the staff is part-time just because we're accommodating our kids' schedules. But then we have like some new people recently that are here that we know are probably going to be, when you just know they're going to be like the next lifer.
Yeah.
So
Lifer.
Yes.
I'm like super thrilled. Like I feel like
Esmeralda.
yeah, and Gab's been now
Gabby.
like
Oh my
it's
God.
like Gabby's always been there. You know what I mean?
I know.
It's like
she's
when
in
was
a-
she not there? I don't remember a time before her. That's how I feel. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
she's just like when you find that person that just fits in, and you're just like, yep, and this is just gonna work. And we are everyone gets along. Even if there's people that come in that we don't necessarily have that feeling with right away, but like that's okay. Like, and everyone brings something different to the table. But I feel like as a whole right now, we got like a core group.
And Kim Hoffman is going to be coming back and doing more massage.
Oh, thank goodness.
Which is amazing. And other
Music to my ears.
healing treatments, which we need. We need more healing treatments. We need more
we're still
self-care.
trying to recover from the pandemic. We
The
were
connection is so important.
we were doing so much massage, body treatments, things like that. But with the pandemic and like not being able to wear robes and doing this, it's just so much stuff changed. And then we accommodated to the new. And then a lot of that stuff just kind of fell on the wayside. So we're trying to go back to the basics, you know?
Yeah. And it's staying connected.
Yep.
And that is
that's
the
it.
big thing. Faith, family, staying connected,
Yep.
and staying in reality, staying in the positive. What is,
Yeah. Absolutely.
this is truth.
Yes.
Is connecting with people.
Yeah.
And
real
sometimes,
conversations, real life.
yeah, and sometimes what we hear on the media is it's not true, you know, and I think it's so important to reach out and hug someone, love someone, smile. It is the best. And thank you, Mike, for
You're
being
contagious.
you.
welcome. Thanks for letting me sit in with the girl chat
Oh
here.
my gosh.
I was kind of digging it.
It was
One of the
so
ladies
cool.
over here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got it going on.
You do. Oh my God. And thank you so much, Jamie.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Great job.
Thank you.
You are the best.
we love being here, so any chance I can, here I am. I told Chrissy, I was like, I have a cancellation, I'm coming. She's like, okay, we'll find something to talk about.
All right, wrap it up there, Miss Chrissy.
All right. And you can find Jamie at Chill Spa up on Hanover Street. And everyone, have a beautiful day. And thank you for connecting, loving one another. And I'm praying for each and every one who has cancer, and love one another. Peace.
Pete.